Do it for the love, man, I do it for the likes. But I don't mind. I like or two. Yeah, it's surely fine.
Hi everybody, it is Stacy Personally Gardening, and it has been a long time, but welcome to those who are newly subscribed. Thanks for checking out my channel, and I hope that you will enjoy this video with me today on Friday, September 20th here in beautiful Jamaica. It's just about after 7 in the morning, almost 7:30 a.m. here today, and I decided to just give a quick garden update because it has been so long. So why don't you join me? So when I say garden tour, it's really just an update of what has been happening. Right now you can actually see my yard for those who would have seen it about a month ago, which was quite overgrown. Things are now clearly seen. My nice little bordering flowers here, going right on quickly. Soon, where you see those wet spots, I planted some sorrel all the way along the edge, so hopefully those will start to germinate. I did try doing some in my planter, but they came up, but they were dying. I don't know if it was the heat inside the house. This is my ackee tree, which this damages since I was away, but here are fresh leaves coming up, so over time those will fall off. Turning here now to my citrus tree. This is probably this is the third one. I think I have about 3 different citrus trees, and would you believe it? Here we already have tiny caterpillars on them right where my finger is. That's the second one I have killed, and here are more. So if you never are sure if it's a citrus tree, just look out for these little tiny caterpillars. I never noticed them when the tree was this small though. Wow. Okay, so this is not, I'm not sure what kind of tree this is going to be. It might be grapefruit or it might be lime, but it's not an orange tree. Not that I can remember. I don't remember throwing any orange seeds. Right over here, this is what's left of my basil. I know it's dying, but I have just left it there. This is all seeds up here, so I'm just going to allow nature to do its thing. There's some amount of growth still right there, but I'm sure it's probably dead, but I'll leave it anyway. Here I have my escallion. I've decided to plant escallion in here, or green onions. The ones to the back I actually transplanted from where I had them before, and so I have had these for just about a year, and I've been cutting and they've just been growing. These I did recently since I returned, so they are no more than about a month and a half years old, and all I did was buy some green onions or escallion from my supermarket. I cut off the bottoms, allowed them to generate some roots in a shallow glass of water, very shallow, and then I just planted them in my garden, and there they are, and I'm going to be cooking with them today. Here is another citrus plant, which means I actually have 4 and not 3. I don't know what this one is either, but clearly it's a different kind, and there are no caterpillars on this one. All right, these things are going to take a long time to grow, and so I'm just going to be sharing the upgrades with you each time. Here is my almond tree. It is now above my waist, which is good. So it has been growing steadily. It has withstood the weeds that were making holes in them. All these holes were from a vine, not caterpillars as I thought. A vine that was just taking over it completely. All right, so Here I have some sorrel, which I was about to harvest with some more sorrel down that side. About to harvest, just to harvest them to make tea or a glass of drink. I won't go through the whole process of making that sorrel as we normally would. Or let me come back over here. My pepper plants. Nothing but pepper plants. There are some blossoms coming up now. I did get a few peppers, but they were really small because they had gone through some drought periods, and so the peppers were small, but they were so hot. Now this was my attempt at a raised wooden bed, just a small one, but termites have been eating the wood, and so once it has been eaten, I know I'm not going to be using any more wood outside, whether it's even treated or not, because the termites are just so bad. So this is all hot peppers. All right, moving right along, you can see my coconut tree continuing to strive and looking really good. Here is another sorrel plant, and this would have been from the very first set of seeds that were dropped from the first set of sorrel that I planted. Okay, here is a papaya tree that was growing, well, two papaya trees that I had allowed to grow in the compost. The compost area has like concrete mix below the surface, and that's why it really could not stand up when Tropical Storm Beryl came, and the wind for me usually comes from that direction, so everything always blows this way. And so this was blown down but still anchored somehow by its roots, and it has been growing really well, and it has small papayas all on both of them, which I'm very happy about, since I did not really get any papaya from the original set of papaya trees, which have been ravaged by different disease. Okay, here is another citrus plant, and maybe this one is the same as the first one, because here you can see a caterpillar, and that one is a little too big, and I don't like them when they are spiky looking, so I will not use my finger to just kill him this time. Yeah, all right, so we're not searching for caterpillars though. But this is another citrus tree, and I'm excited about that because citrus here in Jamaica has gotten ridiculously expensive. Here's some more sorrel that I'm going to be harvesting to make a drink or some tea, or roselles, you may know it as that. And this is nice and ready to be picked, nice and big. Here are a few more over here, and this, as I said, is the compost area because I did throw a lot of seeds, sorrel seeds over here, and so we even have some smaller sorrel plants coming up. So I think I will be good for sorrel for the upcoming Christmas season. Still in my compost heap area, 2 pumpkin vines. I'm going to just let them grow, but I'm really not growing pumpkin anymore. It takes a lot of work, and it really just takes over the place, and I don't like how it does that. But I will, of course, try and monitor it in some way, but in terms of using the pesticides to kill the caterpillars that are already eating out the growing tip, as you can see from all the brown here. Yeah, it's just a lot of work to manage pumpkin. See, so many caterpillars already in the growing tips. Yeah, it's too much work, too much. Here is my second ackee plant, which had also suffered some damage from the drought time when it was overrun by weeds, but it is looking well and sending out new leaves, so that's awesome. Okay, now since I came back, I went to the country and a dear friend of mine blessed me with 3 planting trees, and all 3 have successfully been planted and are showing evidence of such. This is a new leaf that has come up. There we go. 1, 2, and the other one over there is a planting tree. I'm hoping that these 2 here are banana. I am not sure. I'm not able to tell the difference. But when I came back, I actually completely used the brush cutter or string trimmer, and I cut this off. So this is actually a new plant that has come up from what was left of the roots in there. Yes, you can see here, this is how tall it had been before I accidentally cut it. All right, so I'm having a nice thing of green bananas and plantings happening here. Here's my ackee tree. This is the first one that I planted from seed, and it's almost as tall as I am. I had to actually change the support to this stick, which is taller, but of course the tree is still taller than it. But this is much better. As I said, the wind comes from that direction and really just hits at them, you know, and I didn't want it to break. It's probably just a spider living under here. Yep, there goes a spider. Let him be. All right, so that's my big ackee tree. There it is. Now look at my papaya trees, of which I said have been ravaged by this white sooty moss looking fungus that has caused the fruit not to be producing as it should. They've all had fruit on them, and even now they have fruit. There's a cluster right here, but they have not been able to really get to mature. This is much taller than I am. You know, and the trees have really just been trying. Ants are helping, I guess, I don't know, but the ants have been going all the way up to where the white sooty fungus thing is and doing something. There are only 3 of the 5 left. Since I came back, I found one had already disintegrated in the ground, fallen and disintegrated. The other one that I came and saw, something was wrong with it, and when I knocked it over, termites had been eating out the middle of that plant, so it had no hope of survival. So we have 3 papaya trees. Let's see if I'll be able to get any fruit from them. Here is my Martinique orange tree, and I know exactly what type of citrus tree this is because I bought this one. This, when I came back, had way less leaves, and it was completely ravaged by caterpillars. Completely. The caterpillars left sticks, just lots and lots of sticks, as you can see, but it has been sending out new leaves. I haven't had the chance to spray it as yet for these caterpillars, which I'll get around to soon. There's my lovely aloe vera continuing to produce lots of babies, which I removed recently from the base of it. Here is my soursop tree. This is the only soursop tree left. I just gave it some support, which I haven't affixed it to yet, but at least it is being shielded a bit from the strong wind that comes. So this is a soursop tree that I'm looking forward to using the leaves for tea especially, but it's still young, so I don't want to start troubling the leaves as yet. All right, here are my 3 tires. This one is still empty, but I'm hoping to put fever grass in it, or rosemary or peppermint, something like that. I think the tires have been a good idea in helping me to control the spread of these herbs, which tend to really just take over the yard and really populate the space. So when I'm cutting, I just use my clippers and cut all around to keep it in the tires. All right, that's my leaf of life, and this is the French thyme. Right here we have my jute plum tree, which I am still so proud of. It also had some vines, you know, kind of trying to suffocate it while I wasn't here, but it is still thriving and it's still growing, and it is above my waist, almost to my chest at this time. And this was from seed, so I'm super proud. Oh, I am in the space. Here's my little pineapple grove, if I can call it that. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4 were here before I went away for 2 months. Since I returned, I added those 2. And we know pineapples take a really long time to grow. I think somewhere in the region of 3 years, as is typical with a lot of fruit trees. And so I will just keep them as a nice adornment. I made this stoned off section much smaller. Yeah, and nothing else will be planted. I think, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll plant some things in between since they will be taking so long to grow. But let's see. All right, this edging hasn't filled out yet as that one over there. I have 2 more tires there, which I am thinking I will try planting marigold in them to see if they will do well in this kind of control space as well. Marigold tends to not have deep roots and they tend to be blown over, and it's been a challenge with them, but I love seeing them. But I really want them to be able to, you know, to stay around a bit longer. So here you can see my yard. You can clearly see my yard as I move along here. Now this new stone area is going to be the home of callaloo and tomatoes and maybe some other cash crops. But right now what you're seeing are weeds. I got some fertilizer from my neighbor, and I'm sure, you know, just a lot of wild weeds were in it, and so I just have to wait until the seeds germinate that I planted, because as I said, I did a whole lot of new seeds in the tray, but they came up, but they didn't stay. They did not stay at all. So I said, let me try direct sowing instead. There are my window plants, just continuing to thrive. They really don't need a lot of attention, you know. Just watering maybe once a week, even though I think I still water them too much. And they're really just a nice touch beneath my window. Now you will notice that the grass looks brown in some areas, and that's because I have chemically burnt from this area all the way around the house to the front, which is where we're going right now. Already you can see some weeds are starting to come up. So it's been about 2 weeks since I chemically burned the ground. My aloe vera along the side here in the stones, and they do really well in the stones, so I don't have to worry about them, and they don't need a lot of water either. My crown of thorns at the side here, still hoping to be able to put back a rose plant in this corner. That's why I've left it. All right, continuing around, so you can see the yard. It's brown largely because I chemically burnt the front of the yard, so I don't have to be trying to keep the whole yard cut by the weed whacker. Here's my front garden, still continuing to thrive. I did cut some of this beautiful crown of thorn here and planted here, and that small one there. The 2 smaller pieces have caught really nicely. This bigger piece hasn't caught yet. They all had flowers on them, but I can see that it is going to catch eventually. And so the plan is to have this beautiful color all along here, and then that snake plant all along behind it, and I think that's a beautiful contrast right at the front window of my house. Yes, one thing with us here, we suffer from the lack of garbage collection, especially of cuttings, yard cuttings. It's hardly cut. You can see everybody is suffering from that lack of yard cuttings. So let me continue here. If you look here, these are the aloe vera plants that I took from beneath the large one at the back of the house. I'm planning on giving these away. I have not yet advertised them, so that's that. And the other side of the house, as you can see, is brown, and that's because of the chemical that I use to burn it, or the weed killer as we call it. And that's it. So thank you for coming along with me. Oh, the sun is really bright. But I want you to see my eyes. Thanks for coming on this journey with me, just to see what's been going on in my yard. I have been super busy with work, which started back 4 weeks ago. Oh, it's been a month already. And so I have a lot of things I want to catch up on, but I wanted to let you know that I'm still around, and I appreciate you checking out this video. Bye for now from Stacy Personally Gardening. God bless you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Put a comment below this. Check out the description.